My name is Robert Woods. My middle initial is K for Kenneth. I was named after two of my uncles who were my godfathers. I am 75 years old as of August. And I moved up into this area because I worked in the New York State Correctional Services. And my last promotion brought me up to this area. And once we were here, we decided it was a beautiful area and we wanted to stay.
What was your life like at my age?
My growing up at your age, I had a bicycle, as did most of my neighbors and my peers. And we would get out of the house in the morning and just be able to roam around the town and do what we wanted to do. And we were lucky because there was a watch party, if you will, that were all the other mothers and ladies in the town, throughout the town, and they would keep an eye on all of us. So if we were getting into mischief, they would come right up just like our regular mother would and put us in our place or tell our mother or father.
What was it like growing up?
We had a nice little school, and I lived on Main Street, so I could walk to school, it was just up the street. And there were almost 94 people in my senior class. So that was a kind of a group that we grew up with.
Do you have any grandkids?
We have 10 grandkids, yes. It's more girls than boys.
That's how my family works.
Is it?
More girls than boys. But in my mom's family, she's the only girl child.
Oh.
She has 3 brothers and just her.
Ah. So did she still rule the roost
Yes.
over the brothers?
Yes.
Happens like that.
What do you do for fun?
For fun?
Mm-hmm.
Travel. That's my greatest thing. I like to build things. I developed that skill over the years.
What did you enjoy most when you were my age?
Probably getting together with all the crew in the neighborhood and playing baseball, because we lived right by the field.
I like playing baseball, not softball, because, well, there's always so many girls on all the teams. So.
Good for you.
What is your most memorable decade?
Decade, probably the 60s. A lot of things happened. Of course, I was growing up. I did graduate from high school in the 60s and went to college in the 60s, but also there was things happening with our government. There was a problem with Russia way back then. You know, they were our enemies, and we actually used to have to go to places in the school that were considered bomb shelters just in case. That's how concerned they were back in those days.
Wow.
Did a bomb ever happen?
It never happened. You know, there was a crisis with our President Kennedy, actually, is the one that resolved everything with Russia.
That's good.
Yeah.
Name one thing that you didn't have while growing up but are happy to have now.
Independence.
Away from King George.
Well, that's true, yes.
That makes sense.
Yes, with our Constitution. But no, I'm talking about my personal independence where I didn't have to get permission to do something.
What has been your favorite thing about getting older?
Growing old with my wife. We have a lot of things in common, I guess you would say. We like to travel, so that's a good thing. She has kept me going since I retired because she is always into volunteering. She always has to do something. So she retired before I did, and she started volunteering and then got me into it as soon as I retired. So we do a lot of things like soup kitchen and working for the church and working at the thrift store, which I was at today. Came here after that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Were your parents strict? If so, what rules did they have?
It was kind of a split thing. My mother was primary. She was the disciplinarian. She was the one that watched over us mostly because she didn't work. She was at home. My father worked in the paper mill, and he worked what we called swing shifts. So it'd be 1 week of 7 to 3, then 3 to 11, then 11 to 7, and then it would rotate around. So he wasn't around that much when I was growing up, so we always went to my mother. But I have an interesting story about that. One day I was a teenager, or early teenager, and I wanted to go down street to the beach. My mother was gone somewhere. my father happened to be home. And I was going out to the porch, looking down, looking for my mother to be driving home, go back out into the kitchen, get into the refrigerator for a minute, and do that repeatedly. And my father finally goes, Robert, what is wrong with you? I said, well, I'm waiting for Mom to get home. Well, what do you want your mother to get home for? I said, because I want to ask her if I can go to the beach. He said, why don't you ask me? And it was like a light bulb went on. I went, oh, yeah, Dad, can I go to the beach? He says, yeah, go on, get out of here. So, see, that's how strong it was. That my mother was a disciplinarian, and you get permission from her.